Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you a question. When was the last time you truly felt at peace? Not the kind of peace you find when you're on vacation or when everything in your life is perfect, but the kind of peace that comes from within. The kind of peace that stays with you no matter what's going on around you. Most people are searching for peace, running around looking for it in the wrong places, whether it's in a new job, a bigger house, or even in other people's opinions of them. But the truth is, peace isn't found in any of that. It's found within you. Imagine what it would feel like to have that inner peace no matter what life throws at you. Now think about this. What if I told you that finding that peace is simpler than you think? Stick around, because today we're diving deep into how you can find lasting peace from within. Trust me, once you realize where it really comes from, everything in your life will change. So stay with me and let's talk about how to find peace that lasts forever. We live in a world that constantly demands something from us, whether it's the approval of others, societal expectations, or the pressure to meet some standard of success. The quest for external validation often takes over our lives. We look to other people for reassurance, thinking that their opinions of us will define our worth. But here's the cold, hard truth. Seeking validation from others is one of the biggest obstacles to finding true peace within yourself. If you keep relying on others to tell you that you're good enough, smart enough, or talented enough, you'll always be on a never-ending roller coaster ride of self-doubt and insecurity. The reason why this external validation doesn't bring peace is simple. It's fleeting. A compliment today may feel good, but it doesn't last. A pat on the back for your achievements might give you a boost for a moment, but it fades away as soon as the next challenge arises. It's like trying to fill a cup that has no bottom. It's never going to be full. You're left feeling empty and constantly seeking more. But real peace, the kind that doesn't depend on anyone else's approval, comes when you realize that your worth isn't defined by others. It's defined by you. The peace you're searching for starts with understanding that you don't need anyone else's permission to feel good about yourself. This is a powerful shift. When you stop seeking validation and instead start validating yourself, you take control of your own happiness. The problem is that we live in a society that tells us our value is based on what we accomplish, how we look, or how well we perform in comparison to others. Social media bombards us with perfect images, ideal lives, and accomplishments that make us feel like we're falling short. But the truth is, every single person is on their own journey, and comparison is the thief of joy. Peace comes from understanding that your worth isn't something to be compared, it's something to be celebrated. When you stop seeking validation, you start to learn to trust yourself. You become confident in your decisions, knowing that you don't need anyone's approval to move forward. You stop waiting for someone to tell you you're doing a good job, and instead you find validation within. This means recognizing your own efforts, celebrating your own wins, and acknowledging your own value without needing anyone else to confirm it for you. It's a liberating feeling. Instead of seeking external recognition, you get to determine your worth on your terms. And let me tell you, there is so much power in that. When you give yourself permission to be proud of who you are and what you've accomplished without needing someone else to validate it, you step into a place of real inner peace. You stop feeling like you're chasing something you'll never quite reach, because you realize that the approval you were looking for was always within you. This doesn't mean you stop caring about others or the opinions of people you trust. It's about not letting those opinions define you. It's about not letting your happiness or peace depend on how others see you or how they measure your success. When you let go of this need for external validation, you allow yourself to show up as your true, authentic self. You stop trying to fit into someone else's mold or meet someone else's standards. Instead, you live in alignment with your own values, beliefs, and desires. You do things because they feel right for you, not because you're hoping for a compliment or a thumbs up from someone else. Learning to validate yourself also means accepting your flaws and imperfections. It's about saying, I am enough just as I am without needing someone to point it out to you? We all have things we can improve, but true peace comes from accepting that we're not perfect, and that's okay. Nobody is. When you give yourself the freedom to make mistakes and learn from them, instead of criticizing yourself or seeking others to make you feel better, you free yourself from the cycle of self-doubt. You no longer rely on others to lift you up because you've learned how to lift yourself. The next time you find yourself seeking external validation, whether it's in a relationship, at work, or even on social media, take a step back. Ask yourself, why am I looking for approval from this person or group? And then remind yourself that your worth is already established. It's not based on how well you meet someone else's expectations or how many people like what you post online. It's based on who you are, the choices you make, and how you treat yourself and others. Stop waiting for someone else to tell you you're enough. Tell yourself. You'll be amazed at how much peace you find when you stop depending on others to define your worth and instead realize that it's been with you all along. The peace that comes from within, from truly knowing and accepting yourself, is unshakable. In life, we often find ourselves trying to control everything around us, thinking that if we can just organize, predict, or shape things a certain way, everything will fall into place. We spend so much time and energy focusing on the things we can't control, like other people's actions, the future, or even the weather, that we forget one crucial truth. Trying to control everything outside of ourselves will never lead to peace. You can't change the past, and you can't control what's going to happen tomorrow. But what you can control is how you respond to those circumstances, and that's where peace begins. A major part of finding peace within is letting go of the need to control things you simply can't. We all know people who are obsessed with making everything perfect, ensuring that every detail aligns just right and making sure that every plan works out the way they envision it. While striving for perfection can be admirable to some extent, it comes at a cost. Stress, anxiety, and an overwhelming feeling that you're never quite there. When we are constantly focused on controlling everything, we can become frustrated, angry, or exhausted when things don't go according to plan. But life is unpredictable, and no matter how much you plan, it's impossible to control every outcome. Letting go of control doesn't mean giving up. It means accepting that there are things you can't change, and that's okay. When you stop fighting against what you can't control, you begin to free yourself from the constant pressure of trying to make everything perfect. Instead of stressing over the things you can't influence, you start to focus on what you can. You can control how you react, how you think, and how you approach challenges. When you stop trying to force everything to happen a certain way, you open up space for peace to enter. Think about the situations in your life where you've tried to control the outcome. Maybe it was a relationship where you tried to fix someone else's behavior, or a project where you insisted on micromanaging every detail. Did that give you peace? Probably not. Instead of feeling calm, you probably felt frustrated and overwhelmed. That's because the more you try to control things outside of your influence, the more you tie your happiness to external factors. You give away your peace by letting things beyond your control dictate your emotional state. Letting go of control means trusting the process. Life will not always go the way you expect or want, and that's okay. Sometimes things go wrong and we face setbacks or unexpected challenges. But those things don't have to define us. They don't have to steal our peace. It's all about how we respond. If we can accept that things will unfold as they will, and if we can trust that we are capable of handling whatever comes our way, we start to find peace in the midst of uncertainty. Life becomes less about trying to manipulate every situation and more about embracing what is happening right now, knowing that we have the strength and resilience to handle whatever comes. One of the biggest lessons in letting go of control is learning to be present. The more we focus on trying to control what happens next, the less we are able to enjoy the moment we're in. We become anxious, always thinking ahead to what's next instead of appreciating what we have right now. This not only robs us of our peace, but it also steals our joy. The more we obsess over the future or try to fix the past, the more we miss out on the peace that exists in the present moment. When you stop worrying about what's going to happen, when you stop trying to predict and control every little thing, you start to enjoy life more fully. You begin to experience peace, not in some distant future, but right now. Now, that doesn't mean you should give up planning or making choices. It's important to set goals and make decisions. But it's about accepting that despite your best efforts, things won't always go the way you expect. And when they don't, you can choose how you respond. You can choose to react with acceptance, trust, and calmness instead of frustration and resistance. When you let go of the need to control everything, you allow yourself to flow with life instead of fighting against it. Life becomes less of a struggle and more of an opportunity to embrace what is. You stop stressing over the small things and start realizing that everything, even the challenges, is part of the journey. Finding peace means letting go of the illusion that we can control every aspect of our lives. It's about releasing the need to have everything figured out and trusting that we are exactly where we need to be. It's about understanding that not everything will go as planned, and that's perfectly okay. Life's unpredictability is part of its beauty. And when we stop trying to control it, we open ourselves up to the peace that comes from accepting things as they are. The moment you let go of trying to control everything is the moment you'll find the freedom to live fully, to be present, and to experience peace. When you trust the process and stop fighting against what you can't change, that's when you truly start to feel at peace. Too often we spend our lives thinking about the past or worrying about the future. We replay old mistakes in our heads, wondering what we could have done differently. Or we find ourselves endlessly planning, imagining all the potential outcomes of tomorrow. This constant mental chatter can be overwhelming and stressful, leaving us with very little peace. The problem is when we're stuck in the past or fixated on the future, we miss the beauty and peace of the present moment. We can't change the past, and the future hasn't happened yet. So why do we let our minds run wild with these thoughts that don't serve us? The key to finding peace within is learning to be present, to truly experience the moment you're in without getting caught up in what happened yesterday or what might happen tomorrow. This practice is called mindfulness, and it's one of the most powerful tools for creating inner peace. Mindfulness means being fully aware of the present moment, paying attention to what's happening right now without judgment. It means noticing the sights, sounds, and feelings around you without attaching any stories or worries to them. When you practice mindfulness, you bring yourself back to the here and now, where peace resides. Let's be honest, it's hard to live in the present. We're constantly pulled in different directions by our responsibilities, our commitments, and our own inner dialogues. But when we can truly focus on the present, something amazing happens. We begin to find peace. The key to mindfulness isn't about achieving a perfect state of calm or always having our thoughts under control. It's about learning to notice and acknowledge the present moment without letting it overwhelm us. When we stop getting lost in the past or future, we give ourselves the freedom to fully experience the here and now, where peace naturally resides. One simple way to practice mindfulness is by taking a few moments throughout the day to focus on your breath. Just stop what you're doing, close your eyes if you can, and take a few deep, slow breaths. Pay attention to the sensation of the air entering and leaving your body. Notice how your chest rises and falls with each breath. In these few moments, your mind has no room to wander. You're not thinking about what happened this morning or what you need to do later. You're simply present in the moment, fully experiencing your breath. This practice helps you ground yourself in the present, providing a sense of peace that you can carry with you throughout the day. Mindfulness isn't just about focusing on your breath, though. It's about bringing attention to whatever you're doing at the moment. If you're eating, really taste your food. Notice the flavors, the textures, the temperature. If you're walking, feel the ground beneath your feet. Listen to the sounds around you and pay attention to how your body moves. Even in moments of stress or tension, mindfulness allows you to pause and notice what's happening in your body and mind. This awareness creates space for peace to enter. You begin to detach from the constant flow of thoughts and judgments that typically dominate your mind, and instead you experience life as it is, right here and now. Another important aspect of mindfulness is practicing acceptance. Life doesn't always go as we want it to, and things don't always turn out the way we plan. But when we can accept the present moment as it is, we stop fighting against reality. We stop wishing things were different. And instead, we begin to find peace in what is. This doesn't mean resigning yourself to a situation or giving up on making positive changes, but it does mean accepting that in this moment, things are what they are. When you let go of resistance to what's happening and allow yourself to experience life fully, you create space for peace to settle in. Living mindfully also means being gentle with yourself. We're often our own harshest critics, beating ourselves up over past mistakes or worrying about how we'll measure up in the future. But when you practice mindfulness, you learn to observe your thoughts without judgment. You learn to accept your feelings without labeling them as good or bad. If you're feeling anxious or sad, instead of trying to push those emotions away, you simply acknowledge them. You recognize that they're part of your experience right now, and that's okay. This acceptance brings a sense of calm, knowing that you don't have to change anything in the moment. You can just be, and that's enough. The beauty of mindfulness is that it's always available to you no matter where you are or what's going on around you. Whether you're in the middle of a hectic day at work, spending time with loved ones, or walking through a crowded street, you can always take a moment to focus on your breath or the present moment. The more you practice mindfulness, the easier it becomes to return to a state of peace, even when life feels overwhelming. You begin to realize that peace isn't something you have to chase or wait for. It's something you can tap into at any time, simply by bringing your attention back to the present moment. Mindfulness isn't a one-time fix for finding peace. It's a practice that you carry with you every day. The more you incorporate it into your life, the more you start to notice that your thoughts, your emotions, and your reactions become less overwhelming. You start to feel more in control of your inner world. And that's when peace becomes a natural part of your life. So, next time you find your mind racing with worries about the past or the future, take a deep breath and return to the present. The peace you're looking for is already here. It's waiting for you in the moment you're living right now. We all go through difficult times. Life has its ups and downs, and sometimes it feels like everything is working against us. It's easy to get caught up in negative thoughts during these tough moments, especially when we face disappointment, loss, or frustration. But the truth is, we all have the power to choose how we respond to these challenges. How we handle the hardships in our lives plays a huge role in whether or not we can find peace within ourselves. One of the key elements of finding peace is learning how to let go of negativity and embrace a more positive mindset, even in the face of adversity. Negative thoughts and emotions can easily take control, but they don't have to. You can choose to release them, and in doing so, you'll open the door to peace. When we experience negative emotions like anger, resentment, or sadness, it's natural to want to push those feelings away. We try to avoid feeling uncomfortable, thinking that if we ignore the negative emotions, they'll just disappear. But here's the problem. When we suppress our emotions or try to avoid them, they often resurface in other ways. We hold on to anger, bitterness, or regret, thinking that we're protecting ourselves from further hurt. But in reality, we're only building up walls around our hearts and minds. These unresolved feelings can cloud our judgment, drain our energy, and prevent us from finding the peace that's already within us. Instead of running away from negative emotions, the key to finding peace is to allow yourself to feel them without judgment. Accept that it's okay to be upset, to be hurt, or to feel disappointed. Emotions are a natural part of being human, and they don't need to be feared or avoided. When you give yourself permission to feel without trying to suppress or ignore those feelings, you begin to release the power they hold over you. Negative emotions are only temporary, and by allowing yourself to experience them without attaching stories or judgments to them, you can let them pass through you more easily. Letting go of negativity also means shifting your focus away from what you can change and instead focusing on what you can control. It's easy to get lost in thoughts about the past, regret over mistakes made or things you wish you could have done differently, or we get caught up in worries about the future, stressing over what might go wrong or what we fear will happen. But neither the past nor the future is where peace resides. True peace is found in the present moment. When you let go of your attachment to past events and future worries, you free yourself to experience peace right now. This doesn't mean that you should ignore your past or your future. It simply means that you don't allow those things to dominate your mind and steal your peace. You start to realize that the only thing you truly have control over is your response to the present moment. Sometimes letting go of negativity requires forgiveness. Holding on to grudges, resentments, or past hurts can keep you stuck in a cycle of anger and frustration. It's like carrying around a heavy weight on your shoulders, and that weight prevents you from finding peace. Forgiveness doesn't mean that you condone what happened or that you forget the pain. It simply means that you choose to release the hold that the situation has on you. Forgiving others, and even forgiving yourself, allows you to heal and move forward. It sets you free from the negative emotions that have been holding you hostage. And in doing so, it opens up space for peace. Forgiveness can be one of the hardest things to do, especially if you've been deeply hurt. But think of it this way. Holding on to negative feelings only harms you. The person you're angry with or hurt by may not even be aware of the impact they've had on you, but you're carrying the burden. By choosing to let go of negativity, you're freeing yourself from the weight of that pain. You're choosing peace over bitterness, calm over chaos. Another powerful way to let go of negativity is by practicing gratitude. When you focus on what's good in your life, you shift your attention away from what's wrong or what's lacking. Gratitude helps to reframe your perspective. Even on the toughest days, there is always something to be grateful for. A kind word, a beautiful sunset, a warm cup of coffee, or a moment of laughter. When you practice gratitude regularly, it becomes easier to let go of negativity because you begin to see more of the positive aspects of life. Gratitude trains your mind to look for the good, and the more you look for the good, the more peace you'll find. The process of letting go isn't something that happens overnight. It takes time, patience, and practice, but it is something that is entirely within your power to do. You don't need anyone else's permission to release negativity from your life. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment or for someone to tell you that it's time to let go. You have the ability to choose peace, no matter what's going on around you. When you stop holding on to negative emotions, when you stop allowing past regrets and future fears to control your life, you make room for peace. The more you practice this letting go process, the more natural it becomes. You start to live with a lighter heart and a clearer mind, and that's where true peace is found. So take a deep breath, let go of the negativity, and allow yourself to experience the peace that you deserve. In a world filled with noise, constant distractions, and unending demands, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters to us. We often become so caught up in the rush of our daily lives, chasing success, seeking approval, and striving to meet other people's expectations, that we forget about ourselves. The key to finding peace within lies in reconnecting with your inner self, taking the time to rediscover who you are, what you value, and what truly brings you joy. When you do this, you begin to feel a sense of calm and purpose that no external achievement or validation can give you. The process of reconnecting with your inner self starts with taking a step back from the constant hustle and bustle of life. We live in a society where we are taught to always be doing something, to keep moving forward, to chase after the next big thing. But when we're always focused on the future or on external goals, we can lose sight of the present moment and the things that really bring us joy. To find peace within, you have to give yourself permission to pause. You have to carve out time for yourself away from the noise and distractions to simply be. This could mean setting aside time each day for quiet reflection, meditation, or even just sitting in silence. It could mean taking a walk in nature, journaling your thoughts, or engaging in an activity that makes you feel alive. Anything that helps you reconnect with your own feelings, desires, and passions. As you spend more time in self-reflection, you may begin to uncover things about yourself that you've neglected or ignored. Maybe there are dreams or desires that you've put on hold because you've been too focused on meeting the needs of others. Maybe there are passions you've forgotten about, hobbies you've abandoned, or talents you've never fully explored. Reconnecting with your inner self involves tuning into your heart and your intuition, allowing yourself to rediscover what truly excites you and makes you feel fulfilled. When you give yourself the space to explore these things, you start to realize that true peace doesn't come from external sources, it comes from within. It's about being true to yourself and living in alignment with your values and passions. One of the most important aspects of reconnecting with your inner self is learning to listen to your own voice. In today's world, it's easy to get overwhelmed by other people's opinions, societal pressures, and expectations. But when you constantly listen to everyone else, you stop hearing your own voice. You stop listening to your intuition, which is often the most accurate guide you have. Reconnecting with your inner self means tuning out the noise and paying attention to what feels right for you. It means trusting your instincts and learning to make decisions based on your own beliefs and values, not on what others think you should do. This process of reconnecting with yourself also involves letting go of the need for external validation. We live in a world where success is often measured by outward achievements, such as the approval of others, social media likes, or material possessions. But these external markers of success can never bring you true peace. They may offer temporary satisfaction, but they will never fill the deeper void that exists within. Peace comes when you stop seeking approval from others and start seeking it from within. When you stop measuring your worth by what others think and begin to recognize your own inherent value, you begin to experience a sense of peace that is unshakable. Reconnecting with your inner self also requires forgiveness, especially self-forgiveness. We all make mistakes. We all have moments where we fall short of our own expectations. But holding on to guilt or regret can keep us stuck in the past, unable to move forward. To find peace, you must let go of the negative emotions that come from past mistakes and learn to forgive yourself. This doesn't mean excusing your actions or ignoring the lessons that can be learned from them. It simply means releasing the burden of self-blame and allowing yourself the freedom to grow and move forward. Self-forgiveness is an act of self-love that creates space for peace and healing. As you reconnect with your inner self, you'll start to notice that you no longer feel the need to chase after validation or approval from others. You begin to understand that your worth is not defined by what others think of you or by your achievements. Your worth is inherent, You are enough as you are, and you have everything you need within yourself to create a peaceful and fulfilling life. When you recognize this truth, you can begin to live with greater authenticity, expressing yourself fully and embracing your uniqueness without fear of judgment. Reconnecting with your inner self also means setting boundaries and taking care of your mental and emotional well-being. It's easy to give so much of ourselves to others that we forget to nurture our own needs. But in order to find peace, you have to take care of yourself. This could mean saying no to things that drain your energy, surrounding yourself with people who uplift you, or setting aside time for self-care and relaxation. When you prioritize your own well-being, you create a foundation of peace from which you can live a more balanced and fulfilling life. Ultimately, reconnecting with your inner self is about finding a deeper sense of alignment with who you are and what you want out of life. It's about rediscovering your passions, trusting your intuition, and letting go of external expectations. It's about learning to love and accept yourself fully, flaws and all. And when you do this, you open the door to a life of true peace, one that comes from within and isn't dependent on anything or anyone outside of you. This peace will guide you through life's challenges, help you make decisions that are in alignment with your authentic self, and allow you to experience joy in every moment. Reconnecting with your inner self is the key to unlocking the peace you've been searching for all along. Living a life filled with peace is not about escaping the challenges or troubles that life inevitably throws your way. It's about learning how to remain grounded and centered, even in the midst of those challenges. One of the most important keys to finding peace within is realizing that peace is a state of mind that we can cultivate through our thoughts, actions, and responses. It is not something we wait for to arrive or something that we search for externally. It's something we create from within ourselves. To build and maintain this inner peace, we must be intentional about the energy we bring into our lives and how we choose to respond to the circumstances we encounter. One powerful way to nurture this inner peace is by practicing gratitude. Gratitude has the remarkable ability to shift your mindset from a place of lack and dissatisfaction to one of abundance and appreciation. When you actively practice gratitude, you train your mind to focus on what's working in your life rather than what's not. It's about recognizing the small, everyday blessings that we often overlook, like a warm cup of coffee in the morning, the kindness of a stranger, or a beautiful sunset. By focusing on these positive aspects of life, you naturally create a sense of peace within yourself. Instead of dwelling on problems or obstacles, you start to see that there is always something to be thankful for, no matter how challenging the circumstances may be. In addition to gratitude, another powerful way to cultivate peace is by letting go of the need to control everything. A lot of stress and inner turmoil comes from trying to control the uncontrollable. We want to ensure things go a certain way, and when they don't, we feel frustrated and out of balance. The truth is, we can't control everything, and trying to do so only causes unnecessary stress. Peace comes when we learn to let go of the need for perfection and embrace the uncertainty of life. Accepting that not everything will go as planned allows you to relax and trust that whatever happens, you can handle it. When you stop trying to control every outcome, you free yourself from anxiety and allow peace to flow into your life. Another important element in finding peace is being mindful of the energy you surround yourself with. The people, places, and situations we engage with play a significant role in shaping our mental and emotional state. If we spend our time with negative, toxic individuals or immerse ourselves in environments that drain us, it's easy to feel overwhelmed and unsettled. On the other hand, when we surround ourselves with positive, uplifting energy, we create space for peace to grow. Choose to spend time with people who encourage and support you. And make sure you invest time in environments that bring you joy and calm, whether it's being in nature, spending time with loved ones, or even just having a quiet moment alone. The environment you place yourself in matters. Be intentional about where you direct your energy and where you choose to spend your time. Being kind to yourself is another crucial practice in maintaining inner peace. Often, we are our own worst critics, constantly focusing on our flaws and mistakes. We can be incredibly hard on ourselves, and this self-criticism only serves to deepen any sense of unease or frustration we may feel. To build peace within, we must learn to treat ourselves with the same compassion and kindness that we show to others. This means letting go of unrealistic expectations and forgiving ourselves for the mistakes we've made. When you practice self-compassion, you give yourself the permission to be imperfect, and in doing so, you create a sense of inner peace that doesn't rely on perfection. You start to realize that it's okay to make mistakes, that growth comes from imperfection, and that you are worthy of love and kindness no matter what. Another important way to cultivate inner peace is by practicing mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of being present in the moment and fully engaging with whatever you are doing without judgment or distraction. When you are mindful, you focus your attention on a task at hand, whether it's enjoying a meal, having a conversation, or simply taking a walk. This practice helps you stay grounded and centered, reducing stress and anxiety. Mindfulness reminds you that peace is found in the present moment, not in the past, where you can't change anything, or in the future, where worry and uncertainty often reside. By practicing mindfulness, you strengthen your ability to handle the ups and downs of life with grace and calm. Finally, to maintain inner peace, it's essential to embrace acceptance. Life is full of twists and turns, and not everything will go the way we expect. Sometimes things happen that are beyond our control, and we may find ourselves in situations we didn't plan for. However, peace comes when we accept life as it is, rather than resisting or wishing it were different. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up or resigning yourself to circumstances. It simply means acknowledging what is and finding peace with it. By accepting the present moment, you can let go of unnecessary stress and frustration, and you can begin to move forward with a sense of calm and balance. Acceptance allows you to focus on what you can control rather than dwelling on what you cannot, giving you the freedom to experience peace in all areas of your life. Building inner peace is not something that happens overnight. It's a practice that takes time, patience, and commitment. It requires self-awareness, mindfulness, and the willingness to let go of the things that cause stress and unease. But the more you practice these habits, the more peace you will find within yourself. Life may not always be easy, and challenges will inevitably arise. But when you cultivate peace within, you'll find that you can face those challenges with a sense of calm and clarity. The more you nurture peace in your mind and heart, the more it will spread throughout every area of your life. Peace, after all, is not a destination, it's a journey, and it begins within you.